Hey everybody, Ace Channel Liam here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome back to another episode of Form Fight. Form Fight is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon with more than one form, or a branched evolution, or a counterpart Pokemon. We have a look at the differences between the Pokemon in question, and we try and work out which one is the best. And so we can see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. We also have a Metronome battle between them, just for a little bit of fun. If you're already a fan of Form Fight and you're ready for more, make sure you hit that like button, show your appreciation for this series, and of course hit the subscribe button if you're new so you never miss an episode. And of course, I don't know if you can hear me, but use code ACE to save yourself some money on G Fuel. Oh, let's have a look what we've got. It's battle juice, by the way. It's pineapple. It's fruity and lovely, and I love it. Code ACE, please. Now, please. Thanks, please. With all that out of the way, let's have a look at today's challenges. Today on Form Fight, we're going to be comparing the three forms of Cramorant, which are Cramorant, Cramorant Gulping form, and Cramorant Gorging form. Now, when you send a Cramorant out into battle, it will always be in its regular form. However, when a Cramorant has more than half its max HP remaining and uses Surf or Dive, it will change into Gulping form with an Arrokuda in its mouth. When Cramorant has less than half its max HP remaining and uses Surf or Dive, it will change into Gorging form with a Pikachu in its mouth. What makes these three forms of Cramorant so different? Let's take a look. According to the Pokedex, all forms of Cramorant stand at 0.8 meters tall and weigh 18 kilograms. Why their weight doesn't change when their form changes, I don't know, since the Arrokuda should at least add a kilogram to the weight and Pikachu should add 6, but sure, whatever you want to do, Pokemon. The Pokedex info for regular Cramorant says it's so strong it can knock out some opponents in a single hit, but it may also forget what it's battling mid-fight. This hungry Pokemon swallows Arrokuda whole. Occasionally, it makes a mistake and tries to swallow a Pokemon other than its preferred prey. Gulping form's Pokedex entry says Cramorant's gluttony led it to swallow an Arrokuda whole, which in turn led to Cramorant getting an Arrokuda stuck in its throat. The slightest shock is sometimes enough to get the Pokemon to spit out the Arrokuda lodged in its throat. The Pokedex information for Gorging form says this Cramorant has accidentally gotten a Pikachu lodged in its gullet. Cramorant is choking a little, but isn't really bothered. The half-swallowed Pikachu is so startled that it isn't struggling yet, but it's still looking for a chance to strike back. Appearance-wise, all of Cramorant's forms obviously look the same, since the form changes only relate to what is lodged in Cramorant's throat. The main Cramorant creature is a blue Pokemon that resembles a Cormorant, which is an aquatic bird, with blue feathers and large green eyes. In Gulping form, it looks the same but with an Arrokuda in its mouth, and in Gorging form, it looks the same but with a Pikachu in its mouth. In their shiny forms, all forms of Cramorant change their blue feathers to orange, but unfortunately the Arrokuda and the Pikachu in Gulping form and Gorging form respectively don't change to their shiny versions. Although this does kind of make sense because, you know, they're technically not part of the same Pokemon. Now let's have a look at their typing, weaknesses, and resistances. All forms of Cramorant are dual-type flying and water Pokemon, which makes them weak to rock and electric type moves, with the electric weakness being a 4 times weakness. They resist fighting, bug, steel, fire, and water type attacks, and are all completely immune to ground type moves. Now let's take a look at the stats and abilities of these Pokemon forms. All forms of Cramorant share the same base stats, with poor defense and below average HP, but with decent attack, special attack, and speed, and with great special defense. They all share the same ability, which is Gulp Missile, which as we said earlier is what causes the form change. Of course, when regular Cramorant uses Surf or Dive, it will change into either Gulping form or Gorging form, depending on whether or not its HP is above 50% of maximum or below 50% of maximum respectively. The difference between these forms is that when Gulping form is hit by an attack, the Arrokuda is spat at the attacker, dealing 1/4 of that Pokemon's max HP and also lowering that Pokemon's defense by 1 stage as well. Whereas when Gorging form is hit by an attack, the Pikachu is fired at the attacker still, and it still deals 1/4 of the Pokemon's max HP in damage, but it paralyzes the Pokemon instead of dropping its defense. Now it's time for me to decide which of these forms of Cramorant I prefer, and obviously this is a bit of a fun one. It's just an aesthetic thing. There's no difference. You can't have Gulping form or Gorging form without the original form. So I just love Cramorant, and you know what? I'm going to go with Gulping form because I love Arrokuda. Like, the only reason I wanted to do this form fight is because whenever I see Cramorant and whenever I see Arrokuda, it reminds me of the first time we saw Cramorant in the trailers. And I remember seeing Arrokuda in its mouth and thinking, that has to be a new Pokemon. That can't be just a generic fish. It has to be something. I want to know more about that water-type Pokemon that's sitting in the mouth of Cramorant right now. And finally, we got Arrokuda revealed, obviously, when the games came out, and Barrascuda, 2 Pokemon that I absolutely love from the Galar region. So I'm going with the Gulping form just because I like Arrokuda. But of course, it's not just up to me to decide, it's up to you guys to decide which is your favorite. Before we do anything, let's see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. It's time for the Metronome battle. Now, unfortunately, the Gulping form and the Gorging form are kind of hard-coded in the game. You can't really put a Cramorant with the Gulping form or the Gorging form out into battle without it changing. You can't really get rid of Gulp Missile from Cramorant, so unfortunately, we can't really do a Metronome battle between the different forms. So what we're going to do instead is we're just going to have 2 regular Cramorant versus 2 shiny Cramorant. And if you've got a problem with it, make your own 129 episode series, because I'll do my best. Before we get started, we'll point out these Pokemon have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats. They've got neutral natures. They're the same type. They've got the same base stats. They've got the same ability. The only advantage or disadvantage, there is no advantage or disadvantage in this battle. It's literally all down to the Metronome. Let's go. Have fun. It's time for Cramorant versus Cramorant, I guess. Look, we can't get Gulp Missile. I told you this. We can't get Gulp Missile removed from Cramorant. It's not currently possible for me, so I'm sorry. We're just gonna have to have fun with the regular Cramorant versus the shiny Cramorant and just hope one of them uses Dive or Surf to activate Gulp Missile, but I'm not sure. You know, oh, Heal Bell failed. I only record one Metronome battle, and so what we get is what we get. So let's hope we see those moves, but we can't guarantee it. Here's Brian, though, from one of the shiny Cramorant onto the male regular Cramorant there. Of course, that male regular Cramorant was above half its max HP. Oh my god, Rock Tomb. So that Brian was not double powered, it was regular powered. That Rock Tomb, though, Rock Tomb doing half of shiny Cramorant's max HP there and dropping its speed by 1 stage. What's it going to do in retaliation? It's going to go for Bolt Strike. That's 4 times effective. Oh my word. This Cramorant wants to end things early. Down goes the female Cramorant, regular Cramorant from max HP there. Good night, my lord. That electric type weakness is not Cramorant's friend. That much is for sure. My word, what a start. Okay, shiny Cramorant is going to start things off. And what's it going to go for? Going to go for Gust, which, you know, it's stab, but it's not going to do a great deal of damage, is it? Not much damage there at all. A little bit of chip damage, but of course the regular Cramorant is sitting there on the ropes right now. What will it do? Goes for Gyro Ball. That is a steel type move, so it's not going to be very effective there. Didn't do much at all to shiny Cramorant. That's a shame. Now it's over to the other shiny Cramorant. What will that do here? Going to go for Petal Dance, which is going to lock itself into Petal Dance. That is a neutral attack because, of course, Flying resists it, but Water is weak to it, so it does neutral damage. Does a decent chunk of damage, though, to that regular Cramorant, so that regular Cramorant's got to hope that that Petal Dance doesn't continue for too long. Regular Cramorant is going for Draining Kiss, wants to get a little bit of its HP back, so it is going to sap some HP from the male shiny Cramorant there, and restore a little bit of its HP, put itself back just over half its max HP there. Now we have the, oh, here we go. The shiny Cramorant, I should say, goes for Giga Drain, another neutral grass type move onto the regular Cramorant. It's a bit confusing when, like, some of these Pokemon are literally the exact same. Restoring a little bit of HP itself, so turnabout is fair play. There's that Petal Dance continuing. Huge damage, leaving regular Cramorant on 1 HP, and lucky for that Cramorant, the Petal Dance has ended, leaving shiny Cramorant confused. My word. What will happen next? So we get the, I believe it's the male shiny Cramorant starting things off for its team. Yeah, because it's the faster one. Go for Dragon Dance. It's definitely the faster one now. Fastest thing on the field right now, and at +1 attack. Doesn't bode well for the blue Cramorant, does it right now? What's the regular Cramorant going to do now? Because now it's its turn, because it's the median fastest thing on the field. Going for Spore onto the fastest Pokemon on the field right now, shiny Cramorant. So there you go. That's going to be asleep for a little bit. That takes it out of play for a moment. I imagine the regular Cramorant was hoping for some confusion damage there, but it's not to be. Here comes a Thunder Punch, though. That will be the end of it. That is 4 times effective. Good night, sweet Cramorant. The shiny team have absolutely rocked it with those electric type attacks. Look at it, camouflage blending into that background. Isn't that wonderful? What a great play. What a good battle. I like that. So you've heard what I've got to say, you've seen these Pokemon on the battlefield, now it's time for you to make your decision. Which of the 3 forms of Cramorant do you prefer? Is it regular, is it Gulping, or is it Gorging? Let me know in the comments and explain to everybody why your pick is the absolute best. And that'll do it for another episode of Form Fight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, share this video with a friend. If you'd like to support the channel like these lovely people down here do, please pledge to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/AceTrainerLiam. And of course, use code ACE for money off G Fuel. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.